Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Yuan 7. There may or may not be a sword in that name. I'm the serious shit. Fusion Who. In ancient times it had another name called Juyahu, but we're not going to get to read about that because this game just doesn't care. Wang Mang has nationalized the country's land and prohibited land transaction. Which, I don't know, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. So... Oh, I don't want to be here. Shoot, there was an autosave I didn't realize was going to happen. So we actually need to load, because otherwise we'll miss a story scene. I triggered a story scene while I was off screen doing some stuff and realized when I triggered it, oh, hold up, I better stop. Because I was like, I was actually listening to the riff tracks of Harry Potter and the, I guess it's the Sorcerer's Stone in America and the Philosopher's Stone in England, because Americans are too dumb to know what the Philosopher's Stone is. But anyway, we got I did some off screening is what I'm trying to say, and I tried to look for a little information on leveling because it seemed like I fought a couple of guys and didn't seem to be leveling up. And yeah, this game is pretty obscure about some of its mechanics. It doesn't do a great job of explaining everything. At least I don't think so. Maybe you can't believe at how obtuse I'm being about things, but I feel like the game is being, I just use obtuse at least wrong at least once there because I use it to mean two different things. Obscure, I guess. The game can be a little obscure about mechanics, and maybe I'm being obtuse about understanding the directions. But either way, yeah, I guess if you use that soul capture thing, you're going to get better loots, but you want to concentrate on executions to get more experience boosts. And at any rate, several things changed. Because I watched an entire 2.5-hour movie while kind of fighting stuff to just get a little bit of the gold back that we spent. We're at exactly 1,000 gold because I eventually sold stuff I didn't need. But I found enemies that do drop gold, or Jinyi, or whatever the currency is called. But Jinyi is the place. It's right there. But they drop extremely small increments of gold. It looks like you're meant to get gold by obtaining crafting materials in excess of what you need and selling them. But some interesting things have happened. For example, in Elysium, I went to the fusion lab and I just tried combining things. The one recipe that we had was scavenger bandana plus bronze. Well, I started getting ingredients. Like I started getting mobster bandanas by fighting a specific enemy. So it's like, well, what if I combine that with something? What if I combine that with nephrite? Well, eventually, and I didn't really do any save scumming here. I just kind of got well, yeah, I equipped that soul of fortification that we got. Because I had gotten it and then didn't realize, oh, you got to go to this talent page and you start with your martial arts, but if you right click you get to harness souls and you can equip them. So I got that, but I also got, by combining other stuff, a soul of purity, which increases health recovery effects, and a soul of malevolence, which basically it seemed like I got this by using a specific recipe I was given, but this seems to be, I combined the Queequeng soul, which is that weird little creature that fought us, and I haven't been able to encounter any since, but we fought it as part of like a story event to teach you about capturing souls. So I'm guessing combining that soul with almost any secondary ingredient will give you soul of purity. And then this, I had combined a direwolf soul with something, and I got a soul of malevolence, which increases attack. So I equipped all those, and I'd need to get up to level 15 before I could equip 4 things at once, and 30 before I could equip 5. And it looks like that's kind of where it ends. But I also found, if you go in here, that's the fusion lab. What did I actually mean to do? This, maybe? Yeah. In here, you can level stuff up by feeding components to it, and I didn't really leave a way to show you because I leveled these two, the soul of fortification up to 3 and malevolence up to 3, and soul of purity I can't level up, and I think that's because I probably need to have harness workshop level 2. But because I maxed out the levels on the things I could level up, I can't really show you it, but it's just menuing. There's nothing fascinating about it. But basically, you're just like different components. It's a little bit like that very weird item level up system from Final Fantasy 13 where you just feed items to, you know, I could put like 50 quantity torn skins or whatever that like low end drop I'm getting from rough hide. You get rough hides, you get rags I was getting a lot of. Yeah, so I just like dump a bunch of rags into the magical harness workshop of Elysium, and like 50 rags might bring your accessory / soul from level 1 to level 2. So that a lot of that happened off screen, and as a result, I'm doing mainly what I'm getting at here is, and I still can't figure out which menu screens to go to show this half the time. But now, as a result, I have 15% higher defense, but only while in Oxtense. I have better health recovery effects. Not that I'm using a lot of health items right now. And my attack has gone up by 15, and that doesn't appear to be dependent on what stance I'm in. I would imagine the story will advance, and I'll get another stance, because right now I just have Ox stance, but I believe I've done using the right trigger slower, more powerful attack rather than the right bumper fast attack, according to something I read online, is what levels up your stance. And I think I've maxed out my knowledge of this stance because I have martial art now, which is just occasionally like you have a meter that fills up, and when it's full and you hit the X button, you can do an extra powerful attack. It's really not that impressive or amazing. But probably ultimately the biggest difference here is that we are now at level 10. We were, I think, at level 5 at the end of the last one. So I've doubled my level, and I've got souls, and I'm super Bayed. But we've kind of run out of stuff that we can do without advancing the story, other than just continuing to grind. And you know, obviously you reach that point of diminishing returns with the grinding. So let's get out of this village. I do like the atmosphere of this game. I mean, you can tell there is a different feel having a game set in China that was actually developed in Singapore as opposed to Japan. UCV and I used to serve as the tyrant's granary. I wish that text hadn't gone away. We are guests here. Remember that. Yes, General. Yeah, I noticed the uniform on this guy, so I was like, oh, he must be General. We've got reports that the village keeps being attacked by monsters. He's not going to care because he's going to be such a jerk. The last attack were a month ago. I see. Tell the men to report anything suspicious, no matter how minor. Okay. So he was saying, yes, sir. He was saying something about the tyrant's granary, which I kind of am curious about now. Will that repeat if I stand here? Is this going to be a watched pot never boils situation? An idiom that came to mind while watching a video about Star Trek TNG on a channel I like, where Data was staring at, you know, boiling water in a kettle repeatedly and timing it, but like the people doing this video were annoyed because this was like season 6. He used to serve as the tyrant's granary. If we can defend it, okay. If we can defend it, it would do the same for us. Gotcha. So he's saying this place needs to be defended because it could be important for this army. And I was going off into a thing about Star Trek, which I don't know why I was going into it, so I should stop. Okay, so he wasn't being a jerk. He's just saying we need to take care of this place because now the tyrant. I'm not 100% clear on if the tyrant is Wang Mang the usurper. I think the game is set. So Wang Mang basically usurped the early Han. I don't know a lot of detail about this history, but the Han Empire, the Han Dynasty is the one. Dynasty Warriors, the new UK import of Dynasty Warriors. But the Han Dynasty is the one that's falling at the end of, or at the beginning of Romance of Three Kingdoms. Technically, the Han is in effect until Cao Pi usurps the Emperor. In like the edition of RTK I read is 5 books, and it's sometime in book 4, I think, Cao Pi usurps the emperor. So technically, most of the action of RTK, including the entire life of Cao Cao, is technically the Han Dynasty. But effectively, the Han has been, it's fallen apart before then, and it's people fighting for who's going to take control after. But that's the later Han, because the Han had kind of 2 cycles. So the early Han ends with Wang Mang usurping the throne, and then he's defeated and the Han is reestablished, and it reigns for however many hundred years before the events of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So what I think is Wang Mang and his soldiers are the ones who kill your parents at the beginning of the game. What I'm not clear on is whether they are still in charge, or whether, because Wang Mang didn't last that long. So I think maybe Wang Mang was overthrown, and the Han has been reestablished, but we still live out in the woods with our sister. Or Wang Mang is still in charge, and those soldiers work for Wang Mang's forces, and the tyrant they refer to is the Han Emperor that Wang Mang overthrew. I'm not sure that it really matters to the story, but what's both interesting and frustrating to me is that this is a game from Singapore. So if it's not really strictly germane to the plot, they're not going to explain in detail, because the audience this game was originally designed for is probably meant to actually understand this better than I do. So it's interesting and mildly frustrating that it isn't being explained better, but at the same time, I don't imagine the average gamer in Singapore has a hugely detailed knowledge of the history. Just to the extent that if you're making a game set in the American Revolution, the broad notion that America's fighting England, you could expect an American gamer to get. But if you're getting into the nuances of the different, kind of not always seeing eye-to-eye groups within the U.S., like, you would have to explain that stuff more if it was important to the story. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the path, and there is a day-night system, which is not entirely driven by plot events. Oh, the moon was, it's a lovely full moon. I would imagine we are not going to have lunar cycles. The moon is probably always going to look like that, no matter how many days and nights we let cycle. But there is a day-night cycle, because I've run through this at day and at night. And I don't know that it affects anything. But this path we're on is something you guys hadn't seen. We can actually take this all the way back to the beginning of the game. There's a place around here not really marked on the map where we can drop down, but we won't be able to climb back up. And it's actually right here where this is, because when I very first decided, you know what, I'll watch a movie and just, try to grind out some resources for Yuan, I was running around here, but there's very few enemies, and I had to come all the way down here to get enemies respawn when you hit the campsite. But this path here, what we did last time is we came here, we saw this stuff, we went through a cave which is not marked very clearly. I guess it kind of is, actually, sort of. This area here is not marked on the map. But you pop out here, and you kind of come down into here, and we went down here. This is where we ended the video, this village. So we're making our way back, because this is the plot point. It was that big door that I decided to not go to, because I could tell it was advancing the story, and I was hoping we could do the side quest first. But this path here, which is very much like you pop out and you come out of this cave, and you can see this town here waiting to be explored. You have to turn around and go back the other way to see this. So this is kind of quite missable visually. But this is where there were actually some enemies worth fighting that we can get to without advancing the story. And we will see them, and then we will go advance the story. So there's humans. I'll execute that one. And they actually drop Xuan. And I'll capture this one because he's the one who gives us a mobster bandana. As a matter of fact, never mind. It's not going to let us do it right this second. I guess I need to finish this fight before I can do anything. So we fought these guys before, but the guys with the bandanas and who don't look quite as much like homeless people, I was about to start attacking, and then I realized, oh, that's my sister. But yeah, they are a different. There's a different enemy type that we hadn't fought before, called mobsters. Mobsters have become accustomed to spending their days looting. They are more organized. Mobsters have become accustomed to spending their days looting. They are more organized and far crueler than the scavengers. They will kill everyone they attack to leave no witnesses. Occasionally, even coordinate with other bandit groups. So the scavengers are just scavengers. So basically, they're giving us human enemies. They all look like they're basically starving, so I feel pretty bad for them. But the mobsters are slightly higher end, and apparently they work together, but some of them are mobsters and some of them are scavengers. There's a treasure chest here. I forget what it had. It was like bronze or like a clockwork something, like some kind of crafting material and money. And then if we keep going this way, there's like, I think, one more scavenger. And I thought I had targeted this guy so I could get auto lock, but I did not, which is why I was missing a lot there. Anyway, that is those are the enemies that I was fighting against to get money and resources. Now if we go this way, I think we drop back into the cave or something. Oh, I did not realize you guys were here. And I think coming down here to fight you has just knocked me into a place where I think I just knocked myself into a place where I can't get back out. I gotta go into the cave. Yeah, because you can climb up there, but I can't get back here. So I really shouldn't have done that. What I meant to do is follow this path, but instead I'm coming down this way and getting back into the cave, and it's fine. I should have done this during the day instead of the night, because there could be treasure chests here that I didn't get before. Oh, never mind. It's kind of not going to make a difference. I think we're going to... Yeah, we'll end up coming out down here, and we'll have a slightly longer path to follow. If there was a way to get into that cave from there, I missed it. And there probably was, actually. Yeah, there definitely would have been. Alright, never mind. We're going to go this way. You can see the village off to your right. They make sure it's nice and visible as you're coming out, so you can tell where you're supposed to go. But if you ignore it and go hard left, this is your path to backtracking without using teleport stones. The game does have teleport stones, so you don't have to look for ways to backtrack if you feel like jumping back in the game. But they're there. And by not hitting the campfire, I won't respawn these guys. And this is taking a little longer than I anticipated for us to get back to story, but before this video is out, we should at least have a chance to reach... Hold on, am I going the wrong way again? Yes, I am. We should at least have a chance to reach the door to story. This is their first trip together, and this is something I discovered because the hitting the campfires is kind of important when you're trying to grind for resources, because it's what resets enemies. The most recent campfire conversations will replay. So there's only two that keep recycling. One of them is this sister. What are their names? I feel bad calling them sister and brother. It's Taishi Jiang and Taishi Wang. I just don't remember which one's which. Oh, it's not even Taishi Jiang and Taishi Wang. It's Taishi Zhao and Taishi Jiang. So Jiang, there's one where Jiang talks about how this is the longest trip they've ever taken together, and Zhao is like, no, when you were a little baby, I carried you all over the place to escape from evil murder guys. And little sister, who was obviously an infant when that happened, it's like only Quasi believes him. And then the other one is them chatting about chess and how you don't want to become like just some guy who wastes his time playing chess all the time. And he's like, hey, being a gamer is cool, And then he looks directly at the camera. It's like, we love you, gamers. Never change. Slight exaggeration of that.
这儿就是王兄所说的地方了。
Oh, that's why I thought there was a Wang, because there is a character
应
named
该就
Wang.
在这扇门后。
阿兄，这形状跟刚刚的符印好像。
带我确认一
Oh
番。
crap, looks like we're gonna have to find like 3 little different magic icons. Or I guess we've already got 1, and there's 1 that's already there, so 2 magic
得再找
icons.
到另外2枚符印。符印是被外力撬掉的，
I wonder how
是人，
much game we've got before we can open this.
不是人类的足印，
These footprints were not left by human or animal. They were left by manimals.
恐怕是妖魔。
妖魔，
妖魔撬下了符印，足迹一路往外去。
How do you know they weren't made by animals? They kind of look like paw prints to me.
走，咱们去瞧瞧。
I don't understand how
可
he...
能还有一窝狼崽
I
子。
guess I don't understand
这是他们的狩猎区，待会儿小心点儿。
the distinction they're drawing between...
知道的。
看脚印，
脚印，
只要细心观察，脚印会告诉你很多事情。阿兄教你啊，观察步宽和步幅，计算目标的体型和
They are
数量，
walking
还有
single file to hide their numbers
观察
like the
侧定。
sand people.
好复杂，我怎么都看不出来。
阿兄这些年在山里可不是白混的。
Jiang, you need to be smarter than that, Jiang. I know you're the little girl. I know you're the little girl character, and you're supposed to be sweet and cute, but you're gonna have to start learning this shit. All right, can't take care of you forever. And if you don't have a physical body, it might be difficult for you to find a husband to take care of you. So, I don't want to sound like weird and sexist and backwards, but like, yeah, like the cute little girl shit, you're gonna start taking care of yourself, because I don't know if somebody's gonna be taking care of you for you. Although I guess if she's a ghost, it doesn't really matter if she is not knowledgeable about monsters. They say, yeah, never mind, monsters are going to eat her because she's like a delicious pork chop, a spiced pork chop to them. They want to eat her soul, which is like floating around without a body, so never mind, she needs to learn this shit. She needs to know about how the sand people hide their numbers. Anyway, we should see if we can make peace with the wolves. Oh, it is a bit dark in here. I walked right up to that one. I should be pointing out it probably should have detected me and attacked. I guess you'd think the wolf would have a strong sense of smell. I can't smell the enemies because, you know, it's a video game. My television has not been equipped with smell-o-vision features. Alright, so this cave we were in earlier is meant to be, like, you're meant to get little exploration hints on where to go in here, and I just kind of stumbled through trying to find the next side quest thing.
阿兄，
It's a delicious pork chop, I mean, a single.
他们
没事，几只小妖魔罢了。
Yeah, it does seem not that big a deal.
香儿别担心，阿兄的身手啊，打这些匹狼就像打小狗一
I've
样。
definitely fought tougher groups than this, that it just wasn't
那我也来
plot.
帮忙。
好，那香儿帮我鼓劲助威。
So that would be the martial art kicking in. Now there's at least one more, yeah. They're not really fighting back
四处
either.
找找吧。
Look around, nothing. It's sitting right here.
奇怪，怎么只有一枚？
会不会在别的地方
Yeah, I think they're hidden elsewhere, Jiang. I think that's...
被藏到其他巢穴？
Well, I don't think we can count on wolves that be stolen all of them.
再找找吧。是人类的足迹，
Other
有人
humans
在
have
我们之前
stolen
来过
wolf
这里，说不准
talismans.
被他拿走了。
该不会就是王兄说的那名绿衣女子？
Well, why would she have not taken the
不像
other...
女子的足迹啊。
They don't look like a girl's footprints. There's no heels.
这些是他们搜集过来的吗？
估计是因为闪闪发亮的，便带回巢穴了。怪不得门上的符印会被抓下来。
I can't tell from the acting, the voice acting, because I don't know what Chinese. I assume this is Mandarin. It might be Cantonese, but I mean it's a tonal language, so it can be a little tricky for a Western ear to even tell what the mood is meant to be. Because sometimes it seems like he might be joking around with her, but like everything he just said there is like, yeah, maybe they like collecting shiny things. Well, if he's talking about the wolves, yeah, that would make sense. So yeah, I'm getting the worst possible drops because I'm not even trying to. I'm not trying to capture anything, but I figured I'm doing that because I thought I got better. Oh, larva sickle. Sickle engraved in the shape of a larva. Because I thought I was doing that because it's going to give me more experience, but I might be misunderstanding some of these mechanics.
这人走得有点匆忙。
Who's in a hurry? What are you talking about?
看来他是趁狼群外出时进了狼穴。
真狡猾。
咱们不也是？
What? Aren't we all cunning? Hee. I don't think I understand what's going on here.
不太妙，有几头披狼追踪他。
啊？
I think I'm supposed to know. Like, I missed something about who we're following here. Like, was it a creature or a person? I guess a person is a type of creature. But yeah, the game is now taking us to places we've already been.
阿兄，你看，
What? Oh, it's dead guy.
他死了吗？
I wish we'd seen this during the day.
是披狼，这齿痕恐怕是个大家伙。
Man, they took a big bite out of his
狼群
you-know-what.
最为记恨，
He had the big one.
这人闯进狼穴，留下了气味，披狼必定与他不死不休。
那我们不也被盯上了？
Yeah, why did
事
you
情
say
办
that,
妥
man?
我们就赶紧离开此地，远走高飞。哎，没有符印。
Man, there's nothing worth looting on this corpse.
什么也没有，
I can't even get, like, raider armor.
被人洗劫了。有人来
It's
过，
looted by direwolves. Well, I guess the quest is taking us into the village now. But before we go in there, we want to throw down a save and call it a video. So, when we come back next time, guys, I've been through all these areas because I'm just so much of a cool explorer, dude. But now the plot is actually leading us there. It seems a little silly, like, okay, the wolves stole the talismans off the door because they like shiny things. Then some guy came in and took one, but not both talismans. But the dire wolves follow you for a millennium. It's probably like a Chinese saying or something. But yeah, the wolves bear a grudge for millennium, and they came to get him. But they bit the guy and they killed him. But then somebody else looted the corpse. So it's like, well, so this person who took the seal from him didn't murder him. They just looted the corpse. But the dire wolves were stealing. It's like I don't understand if the dire wolves are supposed to be into the seals, or if it's just a little contrivance that I'm not supposed to be thinking about this hard. But either way, somebody in that town must have the seal. And we need to find out who and get that seal from them so we can open the door, because that's apparently where... I don't remember why we need to open the door. That's something to do with aiding the... We're trying to open a different door because a monster named King is in there, who can bring our sister back to life with a body and everything. Or can put our sister's body into a robot while we do a longer quest to get her body back. It all revolves around getting our sister back, but yeah, King needs us to get something that must be behind that door to open the door he's behind. There's a whole lot of locked doors going on, folks, and we'll work on at least one of them next time. See you then.